Socialism versus Libertarianism. So I decided to do a Venn diagram comparing and contrasting the Soul of a Man Under Socialism with Anthem. So first I'm going to go over the similarities, and the first one is that altruism is bad. Oscar Wilde states, "The worst slave owners were those who were kind to their slaves, and so prevented the horror of the system being realized by those who suffered from it, and understood by those who contemplated." Basically, this quote means that those who treat their sufferers kindly are worse than those who treat their sufferers poorly, because the sufferers who are treated kindly do not know of their suffering and are therefore less likely to rise up against it and change it for the better. Rand states, "And to earn my love, my brothers must do more than to have been born. I do not grant my love without reason, nor to any chance passerby who may wish to claim it. I honor men with my love, but honor is a thing to be earned." So this also goes with the idea that altruism is bad, because it states that no man just deserves and is respecting of honor just by being born. Individualism is good. This is the main argument in both The Soul of a Man Under Socialism and Anthem, and is a very important point in both. Socialism cannot be run in an authoritarian way, so Wilde states that individuals need to be present and willing to conform to socialism for it to work. The public's opinion should not be taken into account, or else everyone's individualism suffers. And he uses the examples of the poets Byron and Shelley. Byron is a more important and well-known poet, became less individualistic, while Shelley, who is much less known, was more individualistic. Rand states that there is nothing to take a man's freedom away from him save other men. To be free, a man must be free of his brothers. That is freedom, that and nothing else. In this quote, it's Prometheus stating why he decided to go away from the communal life that he was living and pursue his own choice. Anthem serves as a warning to the present to keep on preserving individualism, and the main point of her entire story is the sacred word ego, or I. Agitators are needed for progress. Wilde states that a poor man who is ungrateful, unthrifty, discontented, and rebellious probably has a more real personality and has much in him, and is therefore more important to society and should be more well respected. In Anthem, the story centers around a single agitator who has disagreed with the system and becomes a better person for it. So the whole plot of the story centers around an agitator who has decided to stir up the normal life and go on to something better and create a better system. Science is important. Wilde states that all states need slaves, and in Wilde's ideal socialistic state, machines will become the slaves instead of humans. Currently, machinery competes with man. Under the ideal conditions, machinery will serve man. Therefore, science is extremely important to the successful running of a socialistic government. In Anthem, the plot is driven by a scientist who is assigned to the wrong job, illegally rediscovers electricity, tries to help his fellow man but is cast out, then resents the current system and escapes to create his own. So basically, in Anthem, a scientist is oppressed but then shies away from that oppression and lives a better life for it. Now on to the differences between the two. So socialism believes in no private property, while libertarianism believes in private property. So for socialism, private property hurts individualism, while in Anthem, private property helps individualism and promotes individualism. So these are just two different viewpoints on the same argument. There's an essay format in The Soul of a Man Under Socialism, while there's a narrative format in Anthem. So in the essay format, Wilde uses direct words and comparisons to portray his ideas, while in Anthem, metaphors are much more important and integral to the story and understanding of Rand's argument. So word choice is extremely integral, and the use of we instead of I signifies the change and shift between a communal lifestyle and a more individual lifestyle. Also, all the names speak of freedom and goodwill to provide juxtaposition to the realities of their bleak life. So that was in the society before Prometheus decided to depart from it. So one of the names in particular is fraternity, which is completely against what the previous society was promoting. The Soul of a Man Under Socialism states why a socialist government would look good, while Anthem predicts of a socialist government that would not look good. In the pro-socialist government, it's anti-authoritarian and it's all voluntary. There would be no poverty, and the state would organize labor to allow the individual to produce what is beautiful. A socialist government that would not work, or the one predicted in Anthem, shows of a restricted freedom of speech, no individualism, life controlled by the state, humanity falling back to the Dark Ages and using candles instead of electricity. History is completely lost and is forbidden to be rediscovered. Love and choice are taken out of sex, and work is treated with reverence. Also, just going back to the socialism point, Wilde also states that work should not be treated with reverence, and he thinks that it should not be treated with reverence, which is why machines are needed to take over the working class. In The Soul of Man Under Socialism, Oscar Wilde states that there should be no family life, while Rand states a big importance on family life. Socialism would abolish family life in Wilde's ideal form of the view, while in Anthem, Gaia plays an extremely important role in Prometheus's life, and the inability to have a family pushes Prometheus to rebel. Gaia and Prometheus's child will also become the leader of the new state, and therefore will be a very integral part in the future of this new state. The Soul of a Man Under Socialism and Oscar Wilde state that material wealth is bad, while Anthem and Ayn Rand predict that material wealth is actually a good thing. So the perfect man would not be measured by material things, and so he pretty much states that material wealth inhibits the promotion of individualism because it makes a person's personality, instead of being inside of himself, is portrayed on outside objects and goods. Rand, however, states the argument against this, and states that only true individualism is achieved when one owns their own property and it's not controlled by the state, because this portrays their own individualism in their material wealth. Also, a small point, but Gaia is enraptured with herself, of the reflection of herself in the mirror, since there were no mirrors in the previous state, but in this new one, a materialistic one, there is.